All right, we'll start the meeting. It's a whole minute fast, but here we go. Let's stand for the pledge. Cody, would you lead us?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Barbara will do the moment of silence.
In a moment of silence, while we remember and give gratitude for our first responders, and today especially remember those in Japan and the earthquake.
Thank you. As usual, the meeting will be videoed. We'll have Zoom public, third to speak. Second will be the people in person. And first will be the committee members, the board members. Meeting is being live streamed. I should mention that we had an executive session prior to the meeting to discuss personnel matters. And I want to also note, that the Milltown Park at the Goshen Heights School down in Milltown was open 2 weeks ago. Big thank yous to Mark Miller, Kevin Miller, and the Public Works Department, and to Jason Lang and Jessica Wilhelmi of Park and Rec. It's a terrific little park down there. If you have a chance, please get down and look at it. And now, swearing in of newly elected supervisors, Barbara Emery and Peter Hicks. First. Barbara will be first? Okay.
You want to get your husband? You want to come in? Here. Left for, and then raise your, if you can raise your right hand. And if you can repeat after me. I, Barbara Emery,
I, Barbara Emery,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly promise
that
or
I will,
affirm
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
of this Commonwealth,
of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties
and that I will discharge the duties
of Township Supervisor
of Township Supervisor
in East Goshen Township, Chester County,
in East Goshen Township, Chester County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations. Thank you. I don't have to work out today.
Yeah, tell me about
Goodness.
it.
You just want to stand right here? Yeah, Peter, you here? Raise your right hand, put your left hand on the Bible. Just repeat after me. I, Peter M. Hicks,
I, Peter M. Hicks,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I will support, obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and that I will discharge the duties of Township Supervisor
I will discharge the duties of Township Supervisor
in East Goshen Township, Chester County,
in East Goshen Township, Chester County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
Congratulations.
Yes.
All right, we're into the reorganization now, and my last act as this year's chairman is to call for nominations for the position of chairman.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the motion that Michelle Truitt be our next chairwoman.
I second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Then the nominations are closed and we'll have a voice vote for chairman. All in favor of Michelle, please signify by saying aye.
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 Thank you. Okay,
That's it.
thank you, John. All right. So moving right along with the reorganization. I'm going to open the floor for a vice chair elect nomination. Are there any nominations?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to appoint John as vice chair.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I second that.
It's the first day with the new mic. Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, we'll close the nominations and have a voice vote. All in favor of John being the vice chair, please say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on to appointments for police commissioner. So East Goshen Township has to have a police commissioner represented at WeGo. And as the outgoing police commissioner, I would actually like to open this nomination by nominating Cody Bright for our police commission.
I'll second that nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? See none, we'll close the nominations and have a voice vote. All in favor of Cody being our police commissioner?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. And next up is appointing a representative for the member-at-large position for the pension committee. This is the committee within the township that oversees the pension for the township employees. And would open the floor for nominations.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to appoint former Supervisor David Shuey to be our representative to the pension committee.
Very good. Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other appointments that people would prefer to nominate? And seeing none, we'll go ahead and close those nominations. And all in favor of having former Supervisor Shuey as our pension member at large? Vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. And on to appointing a representative to the Westchester Area COG, the Westchester Area Council of Governments.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to appoint Michelle, yourself to Westchester Area Council of Governments.
Thank you.
Second that.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would rather have that position? Seeing none, we'll close the nominations. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I would accept a consent motion to appoint item F, numbers 1 through 13 in the agenda, if someone would choose to make that motion.
I so move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. This allows us to appoint the township officials, the director of finance, the manager, the director of public works, and so on. All of those people are enumerated in the agenda. And I will ask for a voice vote. Those in favor of reappointment? Aye.
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 Thank you. Any nays? No. I also would accept a consent motion to appoint the depositories for the township, letter G, numbers 1, 2, and 3.
I'd like to make that motion, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Thank you. Are there any dissents here? I think we'll go ahead and vote aye for those depositories. Aye.
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 Yep. And we come along to the certifying the delegates to the PSATS convention. PSATS is the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors. We'll have 5 supervisors who will be affirmed, and we have a voting delegate and an alternate voting delegate. I would accept a motion, consent motion.
I so move.
Thank you. And any second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in
Aye.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Let's go ahead and Derek, do you want to go over the holiday schedule?
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. Second here. So the holiday schedule is as proposed, exactly how it was last year.
Did you get this?
The only addition we have that was not last year was the election day, November 5th. The reason that was added after talking to all board members last year, we thought, given it a general election, a presidential year, it's already busy enough with quote unquote off years. I don't think the staff is going to get much done here on election day. I think it's going to be pretty crazy for them. So I did add the election day as a holiday, but other than that, all the holidays are as it was last for East Goshen Township. So
And to be clear, that's something that is going to happen only on presidential election years unless.
that's what I propose.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you.
Madam Chair, one thing to add to that too, Derek.
Thank you.
The county is closed that day as well.
County is
Right.
closed that day, correct? Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Does anybody see a problem with any of these holidays?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to approve the 2024 holiday schedule.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let's confirm the 2024 meeting schedule.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to confirm the 2024 meeting schedule.
Thank you.
Second the motion.
Thank you. So at this time, we are sunshining every Tuesday for the calendar year 2024. And that's so that we can hold regular Board of Supervisor meetings on the first and the third Tuesday of each month, with the option to use those other dates as rescheduled dates for hearings that might come up or for workshops that pop up as well.
Yeah, I would like to remind the general public, even though we are advertising it as Tuesdays and generally it's first and third, definitely keep in touch with it and keep an eye on it every month, because depending on certain things that happen, holidays, you never know, that pop up. Things we just don't foresee right now that could change on a month here or there. So please just on a monthly basis, look at the meeting schedule to see if anything's changed on the website. Constant contact. We'll try to keep in touch with you as early and often as possible with changes, but it does happen.
And I think that we'll look at possibly eliminating a couple of meetings as the year progresses, if that is an option that we have, depending on the business of the township. And I did not see any conflicts with any other religious holidays. So that was an unusual thing for this year. So does anybody on the board have any questions about the meeting schedule? So we'll go ahead and vote to confirm the meeting schedule as is outlined. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Derek, do you want to take this next item?
Just 1 second. At depositories.
This is the Keystone Collection. Yeah.
Okay. Keys to collections. Confirm.
Make a motion.
Yeah, I mean, we can just make a motion here. The Keystone Collection does it for the tax collection committee for the county. So this isn't somebody we appoint alone as East Goshen Township. This is the entire county has Keystone Collection for earned income. And they've had some mixed results. But again, we as a county kind of implement this.
So is there anything that we have to do? Is it just
Ye-
simply we state that we confirm that Keystone Collection is the earned income and local services tax collector for the township?
That is correct. Yes.
We don't need to make a motion?
No.
Okay. So confirmed. And we need to make an official.
I would appoint
motion?
for Mally, I would
Okay.
for the independent auditor.
So annually, we conduct an audit. There's an audit conducted of the books for the township, and we in the past have been using the very reputable company Mally LLP as our independent auditor. I would accept a motion to appoint them.
I'm sure I'll make that motion.
Second.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions regarding this? When do they start their audit, Dave?
Technically, we started preliminary conversations. They put out a share file for us to start, as we close the year, we'll start downloading files, drop them off for them. They've reached out. They'd like to schedule with whoever from the board of supervisors like to have a pre-audit meeting. So you can feel free to ask questions. It could be via Zoom, telephone call, anything like that, in person as well. They'll be coming probably the third week of February in person. We usually have everything tables set up and then they're here about 3 days. We've done the preliminary work and then usually we wrap up easily in time for all the March submissions that are due.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, those in favor of appointing Mally, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. No dissents. Thank you. All right, moving on to designate the emergency services provider resolution.
Thank you, Madam.
Eric?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is a resolution we pass every year at reorganization meeting. And this is to simply outline the boundaries by which the first responders are responsible for 911 calls and emergencies in the township. So it is outlined here about the boundaries for Goshen Fire Company in the resolution, for Malvern Fire Company, Good Fellowship, and then also confirming that Westtown East Goshen Police are the police department for the entire township.
And Ed Kilgore too.
And that, yes, Edward Kilgore is the emergency management coordinator for the internal emergency management coordinator for East Goshen Township.
Thank you. Okay, so I would accept a motion on this resolution.
I move that we adopt that resolution 2024-02.
And this is the resolution designating the emergency service providers for East Goshen Township. Is there a second? Thank you. Are there any questions regarding these services? Do I have to ask the audience for that or not?
It's a motion, so
It's a
you,
motion, so
yeah,
yeah.
you would.
Are there
yes.
any questions from the audience regarding the emergency services designees? And none in the Zoom room, so we'll go ahead and take that motion and vote on that. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. And the next item is to establish the 2024 fee schedule in a resolution format as
Thank-
well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is also another one we do every year, reorganization. This is just taking a look at the fees in the township that we have on a yearly basis. The biggest changes here I highlighted in yellow, and that is some of the sewer fees that you could see in the very back of the document for tap-in, particularly in inspections for laterals, water reading, meter reading, and there's also a new one with the associated with the noise waiver special event permit. Due to the fact that that has never had a fee and it does take up administrative time for the codes department, so we decided to reevaluate that this year.
Okay, thank you.
Where did we put that?
Here, right here.
Which page is that on, Derek?
It should be on the
Page
third page.
3.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, do you mind if I make a comment on this real quick?
Go ahead.
So in regards to the special event permit noise, there's only one person in the township that has that application since last year. I think $0, $150 is somewhat excessive. So I'd like to make the motion or suggest that we can maybe go to $100 instead of $150 this year.
Could we have an idea of how much time is involved, staff time, and how many resources are utilized
So
approximately to send out the notification through the mail service?
it's so different on each one. As Cody said, there's only been one driver of this waiver. If you get a big event, which is like a block party, that could be a little bit more time. So, I mean, it could be anywhere from an hour to, 3 or 4 hours of time. I wouldn't mind starting at a lower fee point if that's what the board's consensus is. I think the point of it is to just get something established to recognize that it does take up staff time to do. So
Okay.
if the board wanted to go lower, recognizing that it is a new fee, that's fine. We were just trying to come up with a happy medium.
Okay, so we don't have a motion on the table yet to pass the fee schedule resolution, but we do have, Cody did you make a motion?
Just to suggest that just in case if anyone would be interested in lowering the fee from one.
So perhaps we could have, if there was a motion, perhaps we could do an amendment to the fee schedule.
You can do that in the motion.
Would that be
correct.
okay?
Yep.
Cody, would you be willing to make that motion?
Yeah, if I have the votes for it. Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to approve the 2024 fee schedule with the edit of the special event permit noise waiver being reduced from the proposed $150 to $100. This is a starting point. It's something that we can increase it if
Okay.
necessary next year.
And this is something that I can hear a second on? Second, okay. All right, so with the consideration that we're dropping this fee from $150 to $100. Is there any board question or discussion on that matter? Does anybody have any questions regarding that? Are there any questions in the room regarding the fee schedule? Are there any questions on Zoom? Okay, so seeing no questions, we have a motion and a second with the provision that we drop it to $100 per occurrence. I'm gonna take that vote then. All in favor, please? Aye?
Aye.
Anyone against? No, thank you. All right, so Derek, you'll make that change?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. The next item is authorizing the participation in the Delaware Valley Workers' Compensation Trust, which is also known as Divot, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
So, Derek, do you want to go ahead and fill us in on
Yep.
that?
Absolutely. So we, like many employers, have a workers' compensation company that we deal with. This is gonna be our second or third year with Divot. Second. So last year was our first with Delaware Valley Workers Compensation Trust. We moved over from MRM. So far, so good. We have no complaints for Divot at this
Mhm.
point. I think it's going fairly well. And we are just asking for the board to authorize Divot again for our workers' compensation. Dave, I don't know if you have anything to add as far as how the first year went, but I think overall it was good.
Yeah, we've got a lot more responsiveness from them for employee issues, and the doctors were fine. They actually added a couple doctors for us that we requested. But unlike problems that we had in the past with MRM where people paid out of pocket and then didn't get the insurance payments on time, we haven't had any issues like that.
Are the employees finding, Dave, that it's easier in general to use this particular insurance? Because I know that that was a big issue. People weren't getting reimbursed in a timely manner and whatnot. Are they finding it easy to find a physician to go to as well?
Yeah, and like I said, if
Okay.
they was somebody that they were already going to, we've reached out to Divot and dealt with the coordinator, and
Great.
they brought that person on board.
Okay. So do we need to have a motion then to authorize that participation?
If you can have a motion, I'd prefer that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I would accept a motion.
I would so move.
Thank you. So authorizing the participation in the Delaware Valley Workers' Compensation Trust. May I have a second? Thank you. Are there any other questions on the board? And are there any questions in the room? Anything on Zoom? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the question. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. We're announcing the continuance of all applicable resolutions that were adopted previously. That's just a simple statement that has to be made. It's a general statement every year. Under the chairman's report, the annual ABC planning session will be held on March the 12th at 6:30 p.m. And oh, that's a good idea. Okay,
you.
yeah, that's fine. Okay, so let's finish this item here and then we'll go ahead and offer that. The annual ABC planning session will be held in March. We used to hold this in January. It's a very hectic time of the year, and in fact, also with weather concerns, we wanted to move it a little bit and allow people to have a couple of weeks or a couple of meetings to come up with goals. And that is also why we have not simply just rubber stamped the reappointments and appoint volunteers to the ABCs. We want the new seated members to have an opportunity to understand the process better. And as we have entered into the regular part of the meeting, if we would like to take a break here, if anybody wants to take off, they can. Or you can stay for the rest of the meeting. It's very exciting to have extra people around. So we can take about a 5-minute break here. So if anybody wants to slip out, they can do that. So we'll go ahead and take a break. Back in 5 minutes. So that's by my clock, 6:30, please. the meeting back to order. It's 6:28. Under Chairman's report, we're also going to cover the update on the Thornbury contract negotiations with WeGo. As many of you are aware and you've read in social media, the contract negotiations have ended with Thornbury. And they have chosen to walk away from WeGo for the time being, and they've gone to state police for their services. And as it's a legal matter, there's only so much we can say. Derek, I don't know if there's anything else you can say, but
Not at this time. We didn't come to an agreement moving forward. The contract ended as of December 31st, and Thornbury Township is no longer being serviced as of now by our police department. That's all I really have to say.
and this does not affect the services that the township residents will receive in East Goshen or in Westtown. As there are no emergency services reports, there's not a financial report. We go on to the treasurer's report. So Dave,
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attached is the treasurer's report for the weeks November 30th, 2023 through December 28th, 2023. We got our PA state liquid fuels transfer of over $500,000, earned income tax, Q4 recharges, permit fees, real estate transfer tax collections, local service tax, interest income, and real estate tax collections, which drove our general fund revenue during this period. Our general fund expenses included WeGo contributions, insurance payments, tree removal, and other routine operational expenses. Our capital reserve fund incurred $257,000 for replacement paving finisher roller, replacement dump trucks, and final Milltown playground equipment payment. Bond fund incurred $15,000 of expense for Milltown Dam engineering. And the Infrastructure Sustainability Fund incurred $9,000 of expense for Bowtree Pond rehabilitation materials and equipment rental. Questions from the board?
Madam,
Dave, I have one. When are we going to see how we did for the whole year?
Very shortly. We're closing up the year now. I can tell you right now, it's just underneath, it looks like we'll be just underneath $500,000 surplus for 2023.
Okay, bring the cash in.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept the receipts and approve the expenditure as presented in the expenditure registered and as summarized in the treasurer's report.
Second the motion.
thank you very much. I just want to make a comment. I'm sorry, I was distracted by something that was, sorry. We needed to make sure that we had signed, the police, WeGo surplus was about $167,000. So that means that the split will be basically 45, 55.
Yeah, a little over 80,000 for us.
So a little over 80,000 for us. Will that money go right into the police trust?
No, the money will come to offset our February contribution
Okay,
to WeGo.
do we go?
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be the February contribution.
Yeah, Kathy's working, we got an email today. Kathy Brill is working on getting the final numbers together.
Perfect.
So we'll alter our contribution chart.
Okay. Are there any questions from the board regarding the bills? Barbara, do you have any questions regarding any of those receipts in there that were in the packet? No questions? Peter, you didn't have you didn't have any questions? Cody? John? Are there any questions regarding the bills in the audience or in the Zoom room? Seeing none, I'll call the question to order. Who wants to pay the bills? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. There are no public hearings. There's no old business. Under new business, consider appointments for the ABCs. This is something that we are going to review at our next meeting, but there is one particular appointment that is urgent. And that would be our zoning hearing board. We have only 2 members on that board currently. We must have a third because there's a hearing coming up. If I'm not mistaken, it's next
Yes,
week.
January 18th, which, I mean, I just don't want to, I mean, technically it could be enough time if you were appointed the 16th, but I don't want to really play around with that.
Right.
So I'd rather have them appointed. So
Who do
they're,
we have to appoint?
it's on the list. I got it 1 second.
So zoning hearing board
It's like John.
Zoning here might be John Snyder and Chuck Proctor.
and John Snyder's already on the board,
And Chuck
Chuck is
Proctor was
already
the
an
alternate,
alternate.
but Sigmund, who was on the zoning hearing board, had resigned.
Right?
Did not want to run again, so Chuck wanted to.
Chuck will be permanent now?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and is there now, then there's going to be one other open position?
Well, we
or-
do not have an alternate at this time, correct? But the board itself is full,
Okay, the board itself is full, as long as we appoint someone this evening.
correct,
Okay.
two members, correct?
Okay, so I would accept a motion to appoint zoning hearing board members at this time. Okay, so that would be John Snyder, the incumbent, and Chuck Proctor.
Second the motion.
Thank you, sir. All right,
Madam
so,
Madam Chair, I just have a quick question.
Yes.
What's the reason for the delay for ABC appointments when every year we've always voted for it in the first meeting?
because the new people would need some time to get up to speed on who is applying for the positions.
So are we gonna get resumes from
So-
these people? Are they expected
They,
to go meet them, or I just don't see the reason to wait?
we're just waiting for the one meeting so that Barbara and Peter can actually ask questions about the ABC appointments, the process, and if they have any questions of any of the people who are applying, they have that opportunity to ask questions.
So we're not, so any of the meetings
Just the next.
until March, so then we don't have a pipeline task force meeting then in January and February because we don't have any members? Like, how does that work if we're only reappointing zoning here, board? Do we
Well,
not have any other?
they can still have a meeting. They just can't vote on anything at their initial meeting if they're meeting prior to next Tuesday,
Or you mean the 16th?
16th
16th,
of
excuse me,
March or the
16th.
16th of January?
16th of February, of January. So we're just waiting for one meeting so that Barbara and Peter have an opportunity to understand the process and we can review the applicants if there are any additional applicants.
Okay.
That's all. It's just one meeting delay. So we're not intending to delay things further for them, but we do want to allow the new members to get up to speed. So the motion on the table right now is, should we appoint John Snyder and Chuck Proctor to the zoning hearing board? Are there any questions from the board? Are there any questions in the audience? Come on up. And if anybody has a question on Zoom, you'll be next. Hello. Ah, hello.
Mr. Shuey, you don't have to give your address now.
There's a delay in appointing the agency, I don't understand that. We have done that in the board meeting as part of the board. There are communities between now and the next meeting that can't conduct business if they're not here.
Okay, thank you.
So this is a question for Derek. So technically then for the MA, are they not allowed to vote then on January 8th?
So,
Parks and Rec can't vote on January 4th?
yeah, I mean, I kind of have to massage this. I massage this with Mark Thompson a little bit more, but I don't know if it's because it might have to do with each board and how many members currently sit on each board. And if the ones that are there make a quorum, but is it out of the entirety of the board? So I guess that's a question for you, Mark. I mean, if it's, go ahead.
It's a quorum of the entire board.
Regardless if they were appointed.
Regardless as if they're vacant. Okay.
If they're vacant, it's a quorum of the members that are in.
Okay. So so under that theoretically, they could conduct business? Okay.
So the municipal authority meets next Monday. There's only one open position. They can do business as usual.
Okay.
And so.
I know the pipeline task force is not meeting until February.
Right, so I think that that's the only other board that it affects. And I haven't gotten a chance to review any information from any of the applicants. I haven't looked. We also need to look at the taxes and sewer delinquencies. And I want to know if any of the people who have applied or have said that they would like to be reinstated have any delinquencies, because that's something in our policy that we have stated that you can volunteer, but not if you're behind in certain taxes or fees.
Madam Chair, can I make one more comment then?
Yeah.
And then in regards then to the open spots we have here, it's not like we have people banging down the door to join ABC, so I would be in favor of appointing them all tonight, but if I don't have the support, that's fine. I'll still support CHB members tonight. I just don't see reason for delay.
Again, I haven't looked at, quite frankly, I haven't looked at some of these people. I don't know anything about, under the planning commission, I don't know anything about one of those applicants.
And I'm sure you do
And
know about the other one though.
I do, but I'm not gonna be voting on that. And as far as the others are concerned, again, just making sure that they don't have any delinquencies as well.
Dave
So,
did pull that report.
For the record, I'm good with the delay.
thank
I
you, so
second.
am I. Okay, 3 of us are okay with that delay.
I have that report if you want it.
Yeah, we do want it. Thank you. Okay, so the question is, are there any other questions in the room or on the Zoom room? And seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the question if we should appoint John Snyder and Chuck Proctor. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
thank you. And the others will be attended to at the next meeting. Okay, as there are no public hearings.
Mark, do we have to make a motion to delay the other appointments until the next meeting? Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Consider board liaisons. Yeah. All right.
So there was a list there, Madam Chair, in the packet. The only one I didn't really, wasn't too sure at the time was liaison to the pension, I believe. And that's
Yeah,
not the
it's-
official appointment that we were discussing earlier. That's just a board liaison
Right,
to the pension.
right.
So,
Where is that? I didn't see that.
oh, you know what?
Oh, there it is.
wasn't-
Okay.
yeah.
That's good enough. Okay, so how do we do this? Do we nominate or do we make one motion?
Should we read them off?
We probably should read them so that everybody knows who was appointed to what. So how do you want to handle that? Do you want a motion? Mark, is it best to make a motion on that? Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to appoint. We already did some of these already, so just the ones that we didn't do.
Just liaisons.
just liaisons.
So Michelle then to the municipal authority.
Yes.
John to planning, John and Michelle both to police finance, myself to conservancy, Pete to park and rec. You want me to say that as well?
Yes.
And then also to the fire committee that we will be initiating, Barbara to ESAC and pipeline. I think I've got everyone on there, so.
And then if there's one for pension,
Oh, that was David.
that was Dave. No. There still should be a board
Oh,
liaison.
board liaison.
Oh, then I'd
Okay.
like to make, you want that, Michelle? I'd
Okay,
like to make
yeah.
Michelle that.
Yep,
Okay.
thank you.
I second the motion.
Thank you. All right, are there any questions on the board? Pete, are you okay with
Yeah.
your appointments? Are you okay with those liaisons? Cody, are you okay with yours? John?
Mhm.
Are there any questions in the room or on Zoom room? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the question. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. No dissent. Any other matter? Oh, excuse me, I apologize. Consider the 2024 group bids. Derek, you want to?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So every year in December, for public work purposes, we do go out to bid for certain vendors for certain things that we use on a yearly basis. So for instance, if you look in the packet, we're recommending awarding street signs and posts to a company in there. And then also rental equipment that we rent on a yearly basis, various items that we don't have in-house. We don't actually have, we have to go out to bid again for chemicals for the sewer. That did not garner any bids. So we have to, and that's, I think, the second year in a row, isn't it, that happened? So it's getting tougher and tougher on that item.
So what do we do in that case?
We usually go out to rebid and then contact vendors that are in the business and let them know, hey, we're going out to bid again.
Okay.
So far, we haven't had to go beyond that. I kind of don't want to find out what happens if we have to go beyond that. So we're going to rebid it and hope for the best, and hopefully we can get some choices. But for now, we are recommending the street signs and posts and then also the rental equipment. And that is to Lytle Enterprise of Ohio for street signs and posts, and then the rental equipment without operators to Foley, Inc. So those are the recommendations for the group bids for now, and then we'll be back with the sewer, ones for the chemicals.
Okay,
Chairwoman, I'd like to, or Madam Chair, excuse me, I'd like to make the motion to award the following bids to Little Enterprise of Ohio for the amount of $11,425.98 and to also Foley Inc. for $55,350.
Second the motion.
thank you. Do any of the members have any questions regarding these bids? Barbara, are you okay with everything? You're good? Peter?
Good.
You're good. All right. Are there any
Question.
questions in the room? Or in the Zoom room? Seeing none, we'll call the question. Those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're on to any other matter. Are there any other matters this evening for the board members?
I'm not gonna put Derek to the test terribly, but how are we doing? Which of the, is it Milltown? It's,
Milltown Dam.
Milltown Dam, yeah. As far as I know, I haven't caught up with them because of the holidays in a couple weeks, but before that, we were on schedule. I mean, everything was going smoothly, so I will try to catch up with the project manager this week to get
how
a better
about the
update.
pond?
The pond's going well. Yeah, the pond's going well.
Yeah,
I mean,
was
we're
it-
both projects should be done sometime at the end of the spring,
Good.
so.
Yeah, I can add a touch. So for Bowtree, we had to order 4 more bags.
Mhm.
So we expedited those. They should be getting here this week probably. And the guys will start filling. They had to take a little bit of time. They broke one of those pipes that are supposed to not break. It broke.
Pipes out.
Yeah, so,
Our guys are tough.
yeah, well, I think it was the operators that broke it. They wanted some downtime over the holidays. But so that's going really well. Guys have been freezing out there doing their job. And then what was the first one? Milltown? Yeah,
Milltown,
we also
yeah.
got Eric Neese from Granite Fleming personally did our inspection report for the dam for insurance purposes for
Yep.
in the middle of December. So we appreciated that.
Okay.
Good.
Regarding Milltown Dam, are we gonna have any need for traffic redirection anytime soon, or how's that process? Do we know yet?
I don't think, I mean, I will check with Mark, but I'm pretty certain because of the far down scope of the project, we actually don't have to do any sort of traffic. I mean,
Okay.
let me actually step back. We probably, if, when there's big items that come in, we may have to, for unloading and loading for a few minutes here and there, but there's going to be no big traffic redirection on that project due to the
Okay.
smaller scope. I
Okay.
mean, you don't know of any, Dave, do you? I mean, I think.
No, my sense from talking to him was that it could be a very temporary hour-long thing during the day where they reroute, but
Yeah.
not like shutting down the road.
Yeah,
for-
because
for
we were
day
able to
and
come
night.
up with a path inside the traffic guard as far as earth moving and things of that nature. So we should be pretty good for the most part.
Okay, great.
Good.
Anybody else with any other matter? Under public comment, are there any public comments this evening? Come on up. Happy New Year.
Russ Frankie's Goshen.
I know.
Is there any change that you guys are noticing in the trash collection? Like more and more times you see trash out very late at night. Like tonight, the recycling wasn't picked up as of 6 o'clock. There was been a change in the ownership of the company. Have you guys heard anything other than what I just said?
I didn't notice a change. I think they weren't overly good before the change in ownership, and I still think they're not that great. So, yeah, so I mean, I think we've had issues with AJ Blazinski, but I don't think it's coming close to anywhere near. I mean, if you're looking at some news stories regionally on that company,
Yeah, I know.
it's been tough.
I'm out there all the time with trash.
Mhm.
Cans, especially the pickup.
I don't think I don't think it's gotten better or worse for trash or recycling. I think it's been pretty steady, good or bad. I think the yard waste this fall was particularly bad. I think there was I think they weren't expecting the volume of leaves and branches, and that led to them having to come back another, the next day and things of that nature. I don't want to I don't want to say I'm happy with bad service ever, but when you look at some of the other issues that AJ's having across the region, I'm grateful we're not some of the other places, but they could do a better job. We will be going out to bid again in August for the start of 2025. So this is the last year of their contract. So.
We got comments more from after the company changed ownership.
Mhm.
Prior to that, it was great service.
I think there were still some issues, but I agree that when it changed, there was some hectic months where it was, yeah, it was not
Well,
great.
let me make a point here, if I may, Russ. I get a lot of information from a mailman, and he claims that Blazinski cut the wages by $5 an hour. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know, yeah.
But I
Well,
like it.
LJ's sold it, so he's not the one making all the choices.
I'm using the name generically then.
Yeah, it has changed, I believe, Russ, just the people that we've had to try to deal with for things accounting wise. More stuff falls through the gaps. It's definitely regional. The labor markets had problems, and it wasn't just because if they reduced their wage rates. Labor markets have been strained in all the busing. My kids get, up in Glenmore, they get shipped, sometimes they'll take a bus offline and just say, we don't have the bus. So they have to tell everybody your kid's gonna be 20 minutes late, in the morning and 20 minutes late in the afternoon. So it's pretty widespread, but, I think multiple trash companies are having similar problems. So I don't know if it's better with a different company, even though I do think it's worse under Waste Connection or.
Yeah, Waste Connections. I will say I go back and forth because in some ways I was thinking the other day, I was excited to go back out to bid for it. And then I remembered what the other bid garnered a few years ago, and I'm not that excited about it because there was only two bidders and the price difference between the both of them was so vast. And obviously, the low bidder that we got, there's some issues, but as Dave said, there are other companies throughout the area that are having similar issues. So it's kind of devil you know, devil you don't know. I hope we get a better service in the next bid, but it's a tough industry right now to gauge.
But to that point, Russ, I mean, Mark Miller used to come to my office and we would just call AJ on the phone.
Yeah.
Can't really do that with this company. So that's a difference.
But also keep in mind, there was a gap where we had Christmas holiday fell on a Monday.
Yeah.
And New Year's fell on the Monday. Fortunately, Derek was able to
They're
sell a
supposed,
child and able to get a pickup for tomorrow. So there is gonna be an interim pickup for the recycling only,
for the Monday.
for the Monday
Monday
recycling,
people, yeah.
recycling people. So that's.
So
gonna
you're the
happen tomorrow.
usual Tuesday person?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah, that's good to know.
The meeting gonna be normally at 6 p.m.?
No,
No,
No, reorganization,
reorganization.
sorry.
Last thing I know it's a taboo subject to talk about, but I just wanted the WEGO problem. I just wanted to voice what I am as a citizen or resident of Goshen is concerned about. One is, going through this whole process of not looking for any answers, just wanted to voice comment. We just went through this months long thing about the budgets. And my concern is how's that going to affect the budget? The other thing is, if this does end up in a separation, which it seems like it is, I hate to even mention this, but is that going to affect the police number of cops on service?
no.
I think we're talking about a couple of
things.
different things, Russ, because
I wouldn't-
no, I know, but just to clarify, the separation, but West Town Township and East Goshen Township are the partners. We're not going anywhere. So the Thornbury contracted with us to get services for the police contract, and we service them based on contractual amount. So it's just basically a customer is going away. Now, to your point, does that affect financially? Absolutely. That means the two partners, West Town and East Goshen, have to pony up more money in order to make up that difference. But as far as the relationship itself, we haven't had any conversations with West Town about a schism there as far as the actual partners. So that's.
And I can address the budget concerns for 2024. So we did forecast we budgeted assuming that Thornbury would walk from the contract. So to balance the budget, I assumed we would use roughly 450,000 of existing balance that's currently sitting in the general fund. We would transfer it over and use that to pay. We just got, I'm projecting we'll probably have close to 500,000 in a surplus for 2023. So that would effectively cover that balance. So we would have a net zero balance change. If all goes the way that I'm thinking right now.
And on top of that, Russ, we're all looking at ways to cut the costs without cutting the services because we don't need as much police service not having the Thornbury jurisdiction now.
I wasn't thinking about any cut service, I was thinking more personally on the number of officers. I mean, that's a tragic thing for.
Well, we
a
don't,
family that might be thinking about this thing.
I understand that.
And I really don't want to, that's one of the express.
We're looking at those things. I think we can handle it. I won't say positively, but I think we can handle that. And you will have the service, no doubt about that.
I wasn't worried about that. Thanks.
Thanks, Russ. Come on up. If anybody in the Zoom room has a question or wants to make a public comment, you'll be called on in a moment. Hi, Eric. Happy New Year.
Just wanted to comment on the trash. Monday, Thursday side, haven't seen any real differences in service. Much complaints in our neighborhood. So I'd say, I don't know about internally, you guys have to talk to them, but service wise, pretty much the same as since what, 2010 when we started. So I still like Wazinski's post area prior to that. See what happens.
Thank you.
Mm,
Thank you for your comments. It's good.
Thank you, Eric.
Is there anybody in the Zoom room who has a public comment to make? Anybody else? All right, then liaison reports? None. Correspondence or reports of interest? None. Is there anything else, Derek, before we wrap this up?
I do not think so.
Cody,
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second the motion.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for coming, everybody.
New Year, same year.
Happy New Year.